As an avid explorer, I have always enjoyed discovering new places and going on exciting adventures whenever I have the opportunity. While living in northern Mexico, we had heard rumors that there was access to a secret underground cavern on some farmland just outside our town of Cadereyta. Some buddies and I geared up and set off to find this mysterious secret entrance to the underworld. We optimistically took our rope, harnesses, two-way radios, and headlamps, not knowing if we would even find the caves or if they even really existed at all. We drove into the rural countryside and stopped and asked a local farmer. He sent us off in another direction along some old cow paths. We crisscrossed the landscape but found nothing looking even remotely like an entrance to a cave. Miles from civilization, in the middle of nowhere, we came across another old-timer wearing a sombrero, grazing his cattle. We stopped and asked him if he knew of any underground caverns. Sure enough, he said he did. He said we were very close. We parked and followed him across some rugged terrain to a couple large rocks. "Here it is," he said. Just behind the rocks there was a hole in the ground, maybe 5 or 6 feet across. We looked at each other with some excitement, then peered into the darkness below. We thanked the old man and quickly put on our harnesses to make our descent into the darkness. I secured the rope to one of the large rocks and was the first man down. It was moist and smelled damp as I rappelled down, 20, 30, 50 feet. Finally, I could see the bottom thanks to a shaft of light shining down into the hole. I touched bottom at about 60 feet and called up that the rope was free. As the other guys prepared to join me, I had a look around. Rocks, a few ferns, more rocks, but nothing out of this world, just a deep hole in the ground. Oh well, it was still kinda cool. I thought I'd play a prank on the other guys and hide behind one of the bigger slabs of rock, and that's when I discovered another opening, just big enough to squeeze through. I went in, down another 15 to 20 feet. Soon it was pitch black. I turned on my headlamp and looked around. It was amazing. There were crevasses going in several directions. I wriggled down the tight squeeze till I was able to finally crouch in a small chamber which was connected by yet another passageway. The ceiling was low, so I had to crawl. As I moved along, I came upon a pile of loose shale, and I slowly crept upward. Then my light fell upon an unmistakable form. I couldn't believe my eyes. There before me was a perfect petrified human skeleton. The feet, the legs, the pelvis, the vertebral column, the ribs, the arms. Only the skull was completely encased in a glistening yellow-white flowstone that was slowly swallowing the remains. Water dripped from stalactites above. I grabbed my radio. "Guys, you are not going to believe what I'm looking at. A human skeleton." "Yeah, right," came the reply. "No, I am serious. Get down here." Soon the 4 of us were gathered around the bones, staring in silence. Probably the first people to lay eyes on them since the person died, who knows how many years before. It was impossible to tell if this was a burial tomb or if the person actually died right there, unable to climb out of the cavern. There were no clothes and no clues at all, just bones that were completely fossilized hundreds, maybe thousands of years ago. My friend, Rolando, a devout Catholic, suggested we pray for the person. I said it wouldn't make much difference for him, but any time is a good time to pray. So there in the darkness, at least 80 feet underground, I prayed to God, the giver of life, and thanked him for life and our brief passage through time on this earth, and for the life of this person whose remains so vividly reminded us of our own mortality and the importance of knowing our own eternal destiny. At the skeleton, the passage made a turn to the right, and so we continued exploring, deeper and deeper. At one point as I led the expedition, I accidentally dropped my radio and it bounced down a deep crevasse, impossible to retrieve. Eventually the crevasses were too narrow to proceed any further. It was dark and damp and claustrophobic, and we risked getting stuck, so we made our way back out. We said goodbye to our new old friend as we crept past him. From the bottom of the main pit, we used ascenders to climb the rope. Soon, we were all back on the surface, soaking in the sunshine. That was a once-in-a-lifetime experience I shall never forget, and I will always wonder about the person whose final resting place we discovered deep underground below the plains of northern Mexico. Thank you so much for listening to this true story from Memoirs of Mexico. If you enjoyed this story, or if it was a blessing to you, please feel free to like and subscribe to my channel. That would be a blessing to me. I upload a new true story every day. If you like to read, you can also order Memoirs of Mexico in paperback or ebook on Amazon.com. There's a link in the description. Thanks again for listening.